Hello, I'm King Grant of New Camelot, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to explain to you guys out there how New Camelot runs. Hopefully by now you've had a chance to look through the Government of New Camelot videos explaining how our government works. This video explains basically our system of society. First thing you need to know is we are not obsessed with titles. So I'm afraid, depending on your opinion, not having titles for absolutely everyone in sight, depending on what sort of person you are, what you like, could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, let's get on with it. First off, at the very top of the chain, there is the king. Under the king, there is the ruling council. Two main parts of the ruling council I've explained. And also the king may at his leisure appoint standard advisors. I will do a video about advisors to the king another time. Next on chain, you have your paying Patreon citizens and nobles. These citizens will pay, and nobles will pay their taxes of whatever amount they've agreed to pay for the Patreon, and in return they will receive Patreon benefits. Then there are what we call second-grade nobles. Now, what a second-grade noble basically is someone who has purchased the title of noble from our store, and rather than simply selling them a bit of paper that says their name and a title next to it, they not only receive a plaque with their name on it, but they also receive responsibilities as a noble. So they're second-class noble because they are a noble, but they have paid to be a noble. They haven't earned the right to be a noble. It's a one-time payment. And They do not have a seat on the ruling council. Seats on the ruling council must be earned. Then we have what we call free sign-up citizens, which is kind of self-explanatory, but just in case anyone out there hasn't worked out yet, I will explain it. Basically, a free sign-up citizen is someone who fills in a form on our website and signs up for free in return for supplying some sort of service or product to New Camelot. It is not possible to become a noble for free unless you already are one. Speaking of, we get to the next part of our totem pole, which is member kingdoms. You've probably heard the phrase member states. Before. However, we don't use the terminology member state. We use the terminology member kingdom. The reason we use member kingdom rather than member state is twofold. One, we're building a kingdom, not an empire. And two, as a sign of respect to the leader of those nations. Member kingdoms retain and keep all the rights and privileges they had before becoming member kingdoms of New Camelot. Essentially, what that means is we don't interfere in anything that they're trying to do unless it is going to cause problems for New Camelot as a whole, or unless there is a complaint about it from another member state, from a member kingdom. So anything that's an internal matter, such as trade negotiations, recognizing of her micronations, creating rules and or laws for the people of that kingdom, that member kingdom, and all the day-to-day running of those kingdoms still falls solely under the control of the king, queen, emperor, or whatever title that person has who leads that nation. And we don't interfere with that. My primary duty as king is to maintain balance, deal with anything that affects all of us, and assure that everybody feels like they're being treated fairly, because we want to create a kingdom based on certain values, and one of the main values we want to build on is the idea and belief that everyone, no matter what their position or station, should be considered equal. Anyone, whether you're a leader of a micronation or an individual person, can submit a request to become a member of New Camelot or to trade with New Camelot. As long as you are not going to violate certain conditions, and these conditions are not bad. We will not trade with anyone who refuses to recognize us as a kingdom publicly. In other words, you want to trade with us, you trade with the Kingdom of Camelot. You're trading with the Kingdom of Camelot. You're not trading with one person. I don't care what anyone says. Micronational leaders have a lot to offer, and they do the job a lot better than most politicians do. Anyway, going off on a tangent a little. I would say, though, that just because you apply and you don't violate any of our conditions does not necessarily mean that you will be approved. You have to have something to offer, and you have to You have to be willing to work together with everybody else to help make the camelot all it can be, and you have to be able to, what's a good way to say it? I'm saying it badly. Well, yeah. Basically, we won't trade or accept anybody who has committed any kind of criminal offense. We won't accept anyone who has acted dishonorably toward an ally or friend. We are trying to build a kingdom that will last. We're trying to show the world that things can be better if we just put the effort in and if we just move away from what we have already, the way things are run already. Clarification quickly. When I say you have to have something to offer, what I mean is a wide variety of stuff, not just products and things to trade. Signing Patreon? Definitely. Should just say that all the money that goes into my Patreon gets used for the good of New Camelot, and once I start making enough money to actually do stuff for New Camelot with, then it's not just me that decides what to spend it on. Every person, not literally person, but not every person that signs Patreon, but every person who signs the noble tier of Patreon will have input in what it's spent on. Ones who spend citizen tier, really, I mean, if they have an idea that they think is really, really, really good, they can submit it to myself or to one of the ruling council. But the citizen tier is only £1 a month, and while we are grateful for all funds, the whole point of having a noble tier is so that if you pay more, you get more. One of the purposes of the Patreon that's already set down is to acquire enough money to purchase some land. While that purpose is non-negotiable, that will be happening at some point in time. It's not something we're going to be fixating over. What I mean by that is that if there are things that we need at the time, then we can dip into the treasury a bit, as it were, and buy those things. Another way you can contribute, if you have something to offer, is you can, if you have a skill that will be useful, that is a big help. Skills, really, I think there's very few people out there who don't have something to offer. Some of you, it will be skills. Some of you will be able to afford to pay Patreon. Some of you will see something cool in our store. I think that some of you most likely know how to make stuff, do arts and crafty stuff. And let's not forget, we are building a new civilization, as it were, so, for lack of a better term. And one thing that I want to do for that is have it that anyone of any race, religion, or culture is welcome. And one thing we can do in order to make that happen is to learn from each other about our cultures. I mean, everyone has lots of different people have different cultures. There's pagans, there's Buddhists, there's English people, there's German people, there's Irish people. It's not just material things that are things that can benefit you. There's a lot of stuff that can benefit us all. And I think that the reason our world is in such a bad state at the moment, or at least one of them, is that people get obsessed with material things and monetary gain. I do think absolute monarchy is the best way for any government to go. However, absolute monarchy does not have to mean absolute control. Citizens and member kingdoms and member states need to have the freedom to make their own choices. Well, if you did enjoy this video and find it informative, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. And remember, we are all the architects of our own destiny.